Commitment 2024, all three major stock indices soared to record highs today following the news of Donald Trump's win. They started off strong as well, right out of the opening bell. Today is the Dow's best day. Look at that, up more than 1,500 points since 2022. I want to bring in Winnie Cisar, Global Head of Strategy of CreditSights, which is part of our Hearst family here. Winnie, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you just saw Wall Street up big today. Despite price hikes, most economists think the country has pretty much nailed the soft landing, and the market was already in record territory before today. So what is behind today's just huge surge?
Well, I think there are three main factors. The first is that we are now past the election. The uncertainty around who would win, what the composition of Congress would be, that always looms large when we lead into election cycles. The second is the expectation of a more business-friendly environment. First, a focus on corporate and personal tax rates and broad-based expectations that personal taxes are going to continue to stay low under a Republican-controlled administration, and that corporate tax rates could continue to move even lower than current levels. And then the final thing is a focus on business-friendly deregulation. Regulations are very expensive for companies to comply with, and deregulation is relatively easy for the executive, the president, to do kind of solo. They don't even need necessarily the backing of Congress to do so. So there are three kind of key things that we think have been really supporting the market today.
All right, so the Fed will meet tomorrow. They will likely announce another interest rate cut. Donald Trump in the past has not been shy about voicing his opinion of the Fed's moves. He wants lower interest rates, he says. If he gets more heavy-handed, is there a risk to a less independent Fed, and what could that mean for the economy?
Sure. So I think that this is something that people were concerned about heading into this election. They're not necessarily sure what type of Donald Trump we're going to get. Is it a pragmatic businessman who wants to support markets, or is it one who wants to kind of bully the Fed around, bully other institutions within the U.S. political and financial system around? Now, for right now, the Fed is still in its rate cutting cycle. It's very early inning, and we're not necessarily sure how long cutting is actually going to last. But it would not be surprising if the Fed at some point says, okay, actually, we've probably cut enough. Maybe we need to hold. That you start to see that chatter on Twitter or X between the president and his followers start to increase, kind of focusing on the Fed and policy, especially if we do see the types of tariffs that were discussed during campaign time actually enacted. Those are kind of opposed things, with tariffs generally being inflationary and Donald Trump generally wanting lower interest rates.
All right, Winnie Cisar with CreditSights. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.